Yeah. I've been saying a few weeks, 4 years or something like that now. Good morning to you. Today we have a special, I would say special guest, I would say special our family and a teacher and a brother and all of those to you, Jeff and Jeff's daughter, Charlotte. Some of you probably new to, I would say new, but it's just first time meeting with Jeff. Many of us we know Jeff so well. Really a remarkable human being. And I'm back here today and meeting our family, and we're really so happy. Not only, as I said, a great artist, great teacher, and when I saw that email coming here, I really got a goosebump. Oh, yes. So therefore, thank you for all coming. And this is a very typical tradition in the Buddhism. Generally, Buddhism is a very simple or taught of Buddhism. When he reconnect his 5 disciples, and the 5 disciples realized now the Siddhartha was not anymore as a Siddhartha, but enlightened. So that before he's going to give a teaching for them about the Four Noble Truths, and they put together their shawls and probably the grass, and they've been sitting a little lower than us, Buddha, and Buddha said on there, he accepted. Buddha said, yes, I accept your putting me a little higher cushion. Not for me, but teaching for the teachings. So therefore, I would like to, Jeff, please, we need to exchange. I would like you to come here and share the topic for today. And this is really wonderful. Many of you have been studying online with the Jeff, and hopefully we do more of this, and hopefully you'll come back again and again, you both, and to hear. So thank you all, and thank you, Jeff.
I refused. I said, I'm not going to say it. But at that time, I made a mistake. I thought it was about me, not about me. This is about Dharma. So you take this is the Dharma seat. So give me in advance for any mistakes I make in this Dharma talk. Because Dharma is utterly perfect and pure. And we teachers do our very best to talk Dharma, not our stuff. Dharma. But that's what this is. Yes, the brand that's terrible.
There's a perfect there. Yes. I love it. Yes. Oh, yeah.
This is a beautiful prayer book. And in another of my meditation groups that I just did a week with, my original Sangha 40 years ago, the custom in that Sangha that, the karma presents itself in different ways. The legend is that the Buddha taught 84,000 different kinds of teachings, different kinds of sadhanas. That's a series of spiritual practices, because there were so many different kinds of beings. And every being wanted to hear, whether they wanted to hear what they could hear in different ways. So there's many ways this is served up. And in my original group, I still want, first of all, I want to find the green Tara sadhana here. What page is that? There it is, 38. In my original group, we always did, whenever we were going to do a teaching for a few moments, what we called Guru Shakti. And all that means is the power of the energy of the Guru. And if any of us, like me, my human reactive mind, is endowed with the power of what the Guru is and the Guru Shakti is, I was one of the doubters going to this. How's that? So I was one of the doubters, and when they were looking at this place, I said, "You guys are crazy. It's a burned-out wreck in a horrible part of town. I'm going to raise the money for that." This is what aspiration prayers do. People don't do this. This is spiritual energy. This is spiritual power. This is what people get together, and all they do is they turn their hearts and minds to Dharma. Things like this happen. The whole neighborhood changes. The whole world will change out of that kind of spiritual energy. I mean, that's what we are. We're conduits. We're actually holograms out of Tara's energies. We're just holograms. We're temporary appearances out of this universal spiritual energy. And it's, look what happens. Look what happens. So anyway, in my traditional group, we would do Guru Shakti for a few moments. What you do is visualize, you all have been taught to visualize green Tara, or whatever image of the deity comes up into your heart. Your mind will want to shuffle images into your mind. Just tell your mind, thanks for sharing, I don't care. And simply allow Tara or one of her many, many emissaries, many of her forms, just to come into your heart. All right, we're just going to spend a few moments of that. And then I'm going to say, I can't say Om Shanti, what should I? Namaste. In fact, I'll make a little bit of a guided meditation. I can see her right now. In fact, who I see is, to my surprise, immediately I'm looking right now at Buddha in his form as Siddhartha. And I'm looking at him, and I see him almost as if he's a form made of light. And my body at this time is not in my ordinary body. I'm in my Vajra body. And I feel that light, luminous presence of Siddhartha. And he's right there, golden body, top knot on top of his head, sitting in the Vajra posture, the full Vajra posture. And he's gazing at me gently. And I feel it perfectly clearly in my heart, no problem. Surrounded by different colored lights. I'm meditating on the presence of Siddhartha Gautama. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Namaste. If you don't have time to practice in the mornings, well, first of all, make time. If you don't, find Buddha or some other sacred image. And you'll read in the books, you need to visualize it here or here. It generally just shows up naturally in some part of your body. And you can do it on a bus. And especially if you can train yourself when you get angry at your favorite target of anger and resentment. It could be a political figure, it could be someone you live with. So when you have that target, your anger, resentment, and your puffed up pride, visualize. How about Mother Tara? You visualize her smiling at you gently and indulgently in your heart. Being the light. So the subject today, of course, is who is Tara? Who is she? And you people I'm very fond of her. I call her his mother, or Droma, as they sometimes Tibetan. She's also your best friend. She can be your girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. Okay, she can be your daughter. I frequently see Tara, my daughter. She can be a homeless woman on the street. She's the divine feminine for you women. Some people, you feel empowered because she's a feminine entity. Okay? But in a way, she's feminine and masculine. You know, she's gendered, I think, for our convenience. She genders herself, creates her form for our convenience. Okay? So, who is Tara? And many of us love Tara as a meditation deity, as an ideal. And we love to think her beauty and her gracefulness. I remember once, where are you, Kim? Where's Kim? Right there. Kim took me to task because once I was talking about Tara in class, I said, she's so beautiful. She has the face of a beautiful 16-year-old girl. I was quoting scriptures, in the pride of youth, perfection of youth. And Kim took me to task and says, that's objectification of women and this. And I said, well, yeah, but that's the way they talk about her. That's the way they talk about her in the literature. So is that who she is? And then I like movies about Tara. So my favorite recent one was Wonder Woman, because to me she kind of merges with Derek and Tara, or Kali. Wonder Woman is like, you know, she's a warrior goddess, and she defeats the negative forces, which are seen as male. Asuric energies, out of control, aggression, pride, anger, rage, and destruction. And you remember, she takes her, you know, she has a sword of non-dual wisdom. She defeats the bullets. You know, she's gorgeous, but she's also compassionate. You remember the scene in Wonder Woman where she sees the little baby and, oh, I like the baby. And then she goes back to like killing Germans. Do you remember that? You have to see the movie because it's all about Tara. Anyway, who is she? So we're very familiar with Tara like that. You know, in all her many guises. I think she's that way, but I'm going to invite you. That's the way she appears in what the Tibetan Buddhists, they teach us in the tradition, are deluded or occluded, clouded perceptions. The way we're taught is, you guys all know, we are enlightened, awareness itself. But somehow we've got ourselves in the mistaken perception that we're ordinary human beings occupying this body, going through all these problems. And we can swear to it, that we feel that we're this human body of flesh that's falling apart in my case. Some of you are blooming into being in this physical body. And we have an interior world that's filled with the following things. We have lots of thoughts. We have lots of emotions. Fear, anger. What the Buddhists say, basically, they would say would be anger and passion. Things we want, things we don't want, plus basic stupidity. We don't know what's going on. We really don't. So we have that. We have our sensations in our body. We feel things, like it feels kind of creepy in here. You know, or we have our interior bodies. We have, there's one other thing, sensations, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, sensations. And we feel things. You guys all know, like, I feel hungry. And we've all, you ever thought about it? What does that mean to feel hungry? You don't know, but you can sort of feel it in your body. That's how our information shows up in this form. And we're totally convinced that we have that interior world of what I just mentioned, this body, like a gateway, and then there's this world of things out there. Again, the Buddhists tell us that this is the way we are gods and goddesses. That's the way we perceive things in this strange, occluded world, this strange world of... The Buddhists say it isn't, we aren't bad. We're not even stupid, we're really smart. We're deluded, we're drunk. We're actually, it's like being drugged. And the great drug is samsara. We like that, samsara. It's not good for us, but we like it. We get attached. So, mysterious Tara. Where is she? Is she in our heart? No, that's the way she appears to us in our human form, our human being. Is she up into heaven? Maybe she's in the clouds somewhere, and she directs her energies and thoughts. A lot of us won't admit it, but you pray to Tara, oh, please help me, Mother. Get me out of this mess. You know, I think of the cartoons of old. Help me, help me. And why do we pray to her as if she was a deity living up in heaven? Is that wrong? No, because a lot of times she doesn't help us. So from a human perspective, that's the way she shows up. She can be in heaven, she can be in your heart. We have what I think of and help me keep track of the time because I'll lose track. An absolutely amazing sadhana. Here it is. It's on page 47. And because I have so little time with you, and I didn't even go there, lots of my I love my brothers and sisters. You are my real family. My daughter too, she's part of it. My Vajra brothers and sisters, and my spiritual masters. They just have no words of what that does. That's your real home. Those people. Well, what does the world look like for Tara? You know, the cliche is we are Tara. I'm absolutely convinced I'm Tara. And I've done many, many meditations before I become Tara. It's very interesting for me to sit here and feel my breasts, feel my womb, and I feel my paint, I feel my jewelry, and I feel being radiantly beautiful. And just so, the kind of thing, imagine being a woman without being the least bit afraid of anything. Wouldn't that be nice, you women? You weren't afraid of anything. You weren't afraid of people looking at you. You weren't afraid of being raped. You weren't afraid of what people think of you. You weren't afraid of the decline of your physical self. You weren't worried about how smart or how stupid you are. Imagine being absolutely not afraid of anything, but being completely and confidently and just utterly at home in being you. Wouldn't that be nice? And you look with great love, as strong as the love you feel for a newborn child, at all these beings. Okay, that's still seeing her from a human view. How does Tara experience herself? How can we even imagine that? Luckily, we don't have to, because we have somebody who clearly knows who Tara is. And I'm pretty sure he's Dudjom Rinpoche. Is that Dudjom? Because they call themselves great masters in the Tibetan tradition. They don't distinguish between themselves and the mind essence, or we'll just say the mind perception of other great masters. It's the same mind. So they mix their names up. And I get very confused figuring out who's supposed to be an incarnate, or well, the Hindus call it avatar, we would call it tulku. Who, I get them all mixed up. This is Dudjom. You guys all know who Dudjom Rinpoche is. Look at his picture. Your heart may melt, like mine does, and then you realize you have a karmic connection with Dudjom. You might just look at, who is this dude? In that case, spend some time with his picture and he may talk with you. Okay, you look at pictures. How many of you have found a picture of some spiritual teacher in the bookstore and you went, oh, I like that face? How many people have done that? It's often different people. I like that face. I don't know why, but I like that face. Many, many stories of devotees who go into the bookstore and they'll see a picture. And they'll grab, oh, that's a teacher. That means you have a very strong karmic connection with that person. Same thing when we look at these pictures. Okay? They're called, in the Hindu tradition, murtis. You guys all have a devotional picture on your altars at home? I invite you to get over our American embarrassment of admitting that we just adore things like that. That we're taught as Americans that we're proud individuals and nobody can tell us what to do. You know, get into it. Get yourself a picture. I would advise you find something that somebody can be her. I have some wonderful rupas, which are statues, and also tankas. So back to this, I think, unbelievable sadhana, which is a series of prayers and practices. Page 47. Now, right up, I'm going to have to admit that I don't know what the 8 profound essences are. What are they? I looked online at these things. I found 2 or 3 translations, alternative translations of this sadhana. And Tibetans love lists. And also, you got to get into Tibetan Buddhism. We in the West have spent many centuries figuring out how to make money, how to make things work, and how to make things like iron and guns and cars. We spent forever doing that stuff. Well, the Tibetans they knew God. They just figured out, how does God work? What's it like? And they just got really good at it, and they figured it all out. They're amazing at it. They're geniuses at it. And they come out of the Indian tradition, and the Indians are geniuses. That's what they spent centuries doing. So it has 8 profound essences have something to do with all of that. So it's an abridged sadhana for the Tara Mandala. Now, may I have just permission to speak, which means I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I'm just going to say things that will be meaningful for some folks and other people won't care. They just think that I just want to speak freely. The mandala is, we're living right now in that mandala, that thing's mandala, and his mandala, and your mandala, and all of our mandala. A mandala, you have to understand, whatever God is, or the self with a big S, is in the center. And the sacred universe arranges itself in all directions, all referring back to the heart, the essence, the true reality of it. That's what a mandala is. All of you are the center of your own mandalas. Some of you experience your mandalas full of suffering and pain. Some of them, like I talked with a couple of my old friends, think things are actually, we're falling apart, but they're probably as good as they've ever been. That's our mandala. Okay, it's your world. So, this is Tara's sacred mandala, her sacred universe. It's an abridged sadhana, is a series of prayers for Tara's sacred universe. And it's from the expanse of the space treasury of the Dharmata. What the heck is that? Well, the prayer gives the whole thing away, what the heck that is, in the first couple of lines, which I just think are amazing lines. And I'm going to have to really try to go quicker and to get through this whole thing, but the whole thing is in the first couple of lines. In fact, the 3 kayas, Om, Ha, Hum, are the 3 kayas. Okay? Now, some people, Losan, have to look at, I'm not sure if this is the Dharmakaya or if this one's the Dharmakaya. Which one is it? Dharmakaya, Shambhogyakaya, or Namanakaya. It's actually Om Ahom. That is the whole universe, but it's from Tara's perspective. For us, our universe is us, space, time, and form. That's what we think is real. Tara, it's the Dharmakaya, the Shambhogyakaya, and the Nirmanakaya. That is her sacred universe. What are they? You have to stretch, and we're going to form a conceptual model, what the Tibetans call the view. And we're going to expand, hopefully, our view, our limited understanding of Tara's sacred world. That's why we practice this sadhana. That's why we should think about it. It's not bad to think about it and meditate on it. And of course, the greatest tool is mantra. All of these things over many years, many lifetimes, we gradually, because we realize on a deeper and deeper level that actually we are Tara. This is an illusory form. This is our delusion. So it opens Om Ahom. And then it has this great first line. In the single expanse of the 3 kayas, the inseparability of space and awareness. In many of my translations it says is. In the single expanse of the 3 kayas, the inseparability of space and awareness is, or there is, self-manifesting wisdom, Aratara. Together with the 21 exalted goddesses who are our own display. I'm going to read the rest of it, then I want to come back to that part. The qualities and actions of all the enlightened beings. Free from conceptualization and clinging, I pay homage. I take refuge in order to reverse the wheel of dualistic confusion. I pray within the vast expanse of Kangzon Zangpo's mind. Please bless me to succeed in life and in practice. I offer the glorious, joyful, and delightful, desirable qualities of whatever arises. I offer the mandala of the realization of that spontaneous presence of the three kayas. May this be the cause for the completion of the two meritorious accumulations. May it bring the glory of the ripening of the fruits of enlightenment for oneself and for all sentient beings. Exalted Arya Tara, please be aware of me. Rescue me from all fear and all suffering. Boom. Mother of enlightened activity who creates all the enlightened ones, by the power of supplicating to you through approaching practice and devotion, bless me always to practice with devotion to you, so that I and all sentient beings may complete the two accumulations of merit and wisdom. Then may the four activities be accomplished, and may extraordinary and common city be granted. May a pure vision of the deities and the mantra arise from the Dharma Dhatu, and may we take enlightened activity as our path to stir the very depths of samsara. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. We do this later. You should repeat it once, or 3 if you're in a real hurry, or 7 times, or 9 times, or until you run out of gas. Boom. In the realm of the great Dharmakaya, all appearances and existence are non-dual. The two aspects of enlightened form appear according to the capacities of sentient beings, and may it always bring benefit and well-being through countless acts of perfect merit. Now, I went through it quickly, okay, without the reverence normally. Normally what you do is you relax your mind a little bit and just open up in space. You open up into, basically it's the mind of the Guru or Dharmakaya space. Just relax your mind. And I went through it with a little bit more detail. And I want to quickly, I hope I don't run out of time, see if I can help unpack this incredible teaching. So, what are the three kayas? Well, back to the beginning. In the single expanse, what is single expanse? Basically, it's the Dhamma. That's the technical term for the single expanse. I like our fancy Western, it's not space-time continuum. It's the quantum foam. I love that term. You guys all hear that very depth physics term. It's so cool, because it's actually our best Western attempt to understand what the Buddhists are talking about, the quantum foam. Okay, I don't understand it very well, but I've read it online and I've watched YouTube videos about the quantum foam. What is it? What is real? Good question. Quantum foam says, not even causally related. In mysterious ways, whenever you turn your attention to things, things appear. What is it that's turning its attention to it? We're not even quite sure. There's no entity. Attention generates phenomena. AKA, the dumbest word in the universe. Consciousness generates, or not even generate, wrong word. Consciousness is awareness. Awareness of what? It's Dhamata. Awareness without an object of awareness. Awareness without an object of awareness. No subject-object relationship. The quantum foam talks about the miraculous appearance constantly of this universe. To our deluded perception, it appears to be arising and disappearing. In reality, nothing at all is happening. It just is. But it says here, the single expanse of the three kayas, the inseparability of space and awareness. kayas. It's big talk. If you look at the quick definition of what the three kayas are, okay, it's a description of how enlightened awareness experiences. Okay? Three qualities to it. First is isness, space-time continuum. Simultaneously, not separate, simultaneously, stuff is here. Stuff is here. I would swear that you guys are out there. That's your Manakaya. Well, stuff appears. According to textbooks, it's the divine forms of the Buddha, which actually manifest in this so-called personal world of ours. We experience the Buddha. We experience enlightened beings. Okay? Out of this mysterious emptiness. The third is the Shambhogya. The person I saw last night for dinner, the Dharma teacher of mine, he said it was really funny. He said, for the Vajrayana people, it's all about the Shambhogya Kaya. We read the textbook, and it's the visionary quality of how deities appear in profound states of meditation. That's what we read about. But from Tara's perspective, it is the creative, spontaneous activities which generate all phenomena. Everything is sacred form. Does that make sense? Everything is sacred form. Okay. So I could, that's right and wrong. You know, I could say more about it. I want to get to the important part, which is the inseparability of space and awareness. Now that is the key to the whole thing. Right now, where are you? You're sitting there. I'm sitting here. How do we know that's true? We just think it, right? But if I was totally asleep, I wouldn't be aware of that. Does that make sense? Now, if you're totally asleep, where are you when you aren't dreaming? You're somewhere, because otherwise you wouldn't wake up. But you're not dreaming. Where are you? You must be somewhere, right? Something must be there, otherwise you would never wake up and this whole world spring into being, right? That makes sense, right? Where are you when you're dreaming? You say, well, I'm in bed, I'm asleep. But you don't know that when you're sleeping, right? Where are you? You're in some kind of a dream form. And you're doing stuff in your dream, right? Sometimes we see our body, but usually we don't. I never see my body very much in my dreams, but I do things, and I go places, and I talk to people, and all that stuff like that. But that's somehow happening when we're asleep in our bed at the same time. Space and awareness. Ponder this, because I don't have time to, I'd love to spend the whole time of this. There's no difference between space and awareness. To be aware is to have space. A subject-object relationship, I, my thoughts, my perception, I and my perceptions, is kind of space. This and that. Our sense of our interior bodies. Are we really and truly and 100% when we think, I feel kind of empty inside? What are you experiencing? I'm feeling a sense of emptiness. Where is inside? Where is inside? Well, I'm thinking about it. Well, I've got big news for you guys. There isn't anything apart from your perceptions of it. There isn't a body separate from your perceptions of it. Think about it. What happens if that part of you right now that is conscious of being in a body, having these experiences as a human being? What does it mean if you're no longer that you're no longer in your body having those sensations as a human being? What does that mean? You are dead. You're just a bunch of stuff. And I've had the privilege of witnessing a body first it's alive, and then it's a bunch of stuff. Right? Now this is very odd. What's making you think that you're in that bunch of stuff right now? It's a little bit like going out and of all the cars in Philadelphia, there's one that's yours. What makes you think that? You getting it, right? It's really weird. There's no difference between space and awareness. It's the same thing. Reality is just space and awareness. You can't have space without awareness, and can you have awareness without space? The answer is yes and no. In what the Hindus call the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it's possible to have just the experience of experience. It's just experience without an object of experience. And they say in deep sleep, we're also in a state where we're having experience without an object of experience. In dream sleep, waking state, and dreaming state, we always have objects of awareness, space and awareness. The single expense of the Dharmakaya, the unity of space and awareness, is no difference. This is so cosmic, I suggest you meditate on it. We are so convinced that we are this body. We are so convinced of our delusion. It's built into our nervous system. Don't hurt me. You know, like, don't do that. But I'm going to give you one more illustration. I'm going to run out of time if I don't shut up. Check it out. Just look at your hand. That's my hand. Now, I just want you to shut it off so you're looking at a thing. Can anybody do that? I'm just looking at this thing. For me, it's very easy. I mean, you're just like, oh, it's a thing. It's like this thing. What a weird looking thing. It's like you picked up an object off the street. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. Now, here's another one. Have you guys ever, forgive me, it's really gross. It's like you're chewing your fingernails, right? It's part of you. You take off the fingernail, or you clip it, okay? And you put it on the table. Or your hair at the barbershop or something. For a little while it's you, and then it'll turn into something else. You know what I mean? It's weird. The other thing is eat food. First, it's just stuff. Then they cook it. Then it becomes your food, and you actually put it inside your body, and then mysteriously it's you. It's like if you barf it up, you don't want it anymore. And if somebody else chews the food, you don't want it. You know what I mean? What is the body? It's something we make up. It's just something we make up. What is it that makes it up? Deluded perception. Self-manifesting wisdom. What does that mean? Truth is not causal. You know, an axiom in the Buddhism is that everything is related to cause and effect. There's only one exception, and that's wisdom. It's the only thing, dharmata itself, the unity of space and awareness. That's the only thing which is not cause and effect, not related to causality. Self-manifesting, it's there. You don't have to pray to it. You don't have to wish it into being. You don't have to do something fancy. It's just always, she's always there. She's self-manifest. What's it mean to manifest? She's in the Nirmanakaya. She shows up in our world. She's in the Shambhogiyakaya. We experience the spiritual power of it. Does that make sense? She's self-manifested. Together with the 21 exalted goddesses who are our own display. Underline 6 times, our own display. Why goddesses? Goes back to tradition in Indian philosophy that I like. The Dharmakaya, the abstract, the quantum foam is identified with Siva, the master. And if you're a yogi like this, he lives either here, or some people like to see him here, he lives up here. Prakriti is manifestation, the world of causality, form, and all that stuff. She's a goddess, or Parvati. That's the way I like to see her. She's the consort, the partner, the companion, the opposite of Shiva. She represents this whole world of causality, world of space and time and form. She's seen as feminine. Why? Because I witnessed at birth, and it's freaking amazing. First, there's nothing there, and then your tummy starts growing, and then a baby comes out, and there's like a human being. You know, like, how do you go, you women, I mean, how does that happen? You know, it's like nothing, and then you have a baby, and it's like, oh my God, another human being is showing up out of where? Nothing. It's nothing. It's crazy. So that's why it's often, I think, seen as feminine, because all of this endless creativity is seen as feminine. The 21 exalted goddesses, why 21? They're different aspects of enlightened being or enlightened perception. They are our own display. Why? There ain't no other form of exalted. The unity of space and awareness is entirely your own. For a long time, through the whole space of the Mahayana, we practice accumulating merit and wisdom, right? We're perfecting our perception. Maybe in some future life we'll realize we'll do that, like that. I like the direct path and the Vajrayana, things like that. I'm sorry, we already are it, whether we want to or not. She is our own display. Tara is. She's the creative manifestation of everything. She's already here. Free from both the qualities and actions of all the enlightened beings. Exactly. Is there more to it than Tara? No, she's the whole shebang. She is enlightened awareness, enlightened wisdom expressing itself through this form of Tara and the associated ideas. Why? Because our deluded perception, ultimately, it's just, we're making it up. Does that make sense? It just comes out of our understanding of what this stuff's about. Free from conceptualization and clinging, I pay homage. Normally, when we're practicing our sadhanas, okay, we're going, please, Buddha, make me wise, or please give me a new car. Please, I need 400 to pay my credit card bill. That's okay. Please, make me a kinder person. I'm so tired of my shit. That's full of conceptualization, full of ideas and clinging. How many people have gone into their meditation and experienced the grasping coming out of nowhere? It is really interesting. Each time a thought comes up, it's a grasping. Actually, you're sort of, something in you is reaching out towards something. And it is the basic separation. It's the fundamental anger and desire. It's the grasping. Free from any of that. In other words, I am self-manifesting party of Tara. This is her prayer to herself. There's nothing to think about. There's nothing to want. I pray within, oh yeah, wait a minute. I take refuge. Why? You know what taking refuge is? I find my reality. I find my hope. I find my shelter. I find my reality. I find my home. I find my parents. I find my lover. I find everything. I take refuge. Okay? I find my home in order to reverse the wheel of dualistic confusion. Why is it called a wheel? It's one of the most beautiful metaphors. You know, in Buddhism, they have the Eightfold Path is seen as a wheel, different spokes of the same central truth. Samsara is also portrayed as a wheel. It's just like being a rat on a little whirly gig. You know, oh, if I can pay my credit card bill, everything's going to be great. Oh, if I get a new car, it's going to be great. Oh, if I get a new pacemaker, it's going to be great. Oh, if my kids ever get through school, it's going to be great. Oh, if I can just arrange funeral insurance, it's going to be great. I'm in the next life, and it's like, oh my God, if I achieve a fortunate human birth, it's going to be great. Oh, I'm in my fortunate human birth again. When I get to be a Buddha, it's going to be great. And oh, I can hardly wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's the wheel of dualistic confusion. Because guess what? Wherever you go, there you are. And what's that other phrase about the chickens? It's like, nothing here but us chickens. Nothing here but us Buddhas. No place to go. This is it. I pray within the vast expanse of Kansan Zampo's mind. Who the heck is Kansan Zampo? He's the primordial Buddha. What's the primordial Buddha? The unity of space and awareness. It's us, the way things actually are. If you saw things clearly, that's actually what things are. In the famous formulation that all we Tibetan Buddhists know about, like that, They leaned over the 16th Karmapa, lying in a hospital bed, dying of cancer, next to death. He was very cheerful. And one of his Western disciples leaned over. The Karmapa says, "Nothing ever happens." Oh my God, this is so weird. The guy ran out and said, "Guess what he said? He said nothing ever happens." And they say, "Oh, he always says that." So that comes in Zampo. Please bless me to succeed in life and in practice. I told one of us, you know, as Buddhists, we're supposed to, this is amazing that we get to have a human form. You guys know about the 4 reminders that turn the heart to Dharma? You all guys all know it? The first one is, my God, you have a fortunate human rebirth. There's about 10 qualities for it. To briefly sum up, you get to be a human being. It's the pinnacle of all incarnated manifested form. You have this Vajra vehicle. This will bring you out of misery and confusion. This is the way out. You were presented with the key, and you are rich enough that you're right now not carrying, in a field somewhere, hoeing something. You're not a soldier. You're not a woman who's dying in childbirth. You're free. You're here. You're well favored. You guys all understand my words. You're brilliant. You were exposed to Dharma. You actually have a real Dharma teacher. Well, it's like, my God, are you lucky? My God. And you not only that, but you have the desire to practice Dharma. Oh my God, how many people wander through here and think, what is this place? Oh, I thought it was a restaurant. Look at your phone. You guys are here. You want to learn, you want to understand this. You come this for refuge. Oh my God, are you lucky? As you said, my daughter pointed out to you, it's as rare as seeing a star in the daytime. It's that rare. Thousands, billions of births you've been through, and now you're here. Better do something good with it. Better do something good with it. First of the 4 reminders that turn the heart to Dharma. Please bless me to succeed in life and in practice. This life is precious. Life and in practice. Why life? Frankly, so that you can practice. Isn't it nice that you guys have the time to practice? So life and in practice. I offer the glorious, joyful, and delightful, desirable qualities of whatever arises. Whatever nice things you have, whatever you think you are, has a little bit, but not much to do with it. It's all God's grace. Being here today is by the grace of God. What could be sweeter to me to be with Dharma friends? Whatever is delightful, desirable, what else to be joyful. One of the great Tibetans said is, if it isn't fun, if you're not having a happier time after 6 months or 6 years of Dharma, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to get more joyous out of this. Life is so joyous, you can't believe it. Tara is laughing all the time. She is thoroughly enjoying herself. How can she do that if she's taking on all the sufferings of the world? It's because she is the world. There isn't anything separate from Tara. And this is a realm of bliss, were we to see it correctly, but we can't. All we see is those awful people in Washington. It's actually a world of bliss. I offer the mandala of the realization of the spontaneous presence of the 3 kayas. It means enlightened awareness. I didn't do it. I don't own it. I don't even exist. Yet, I offer my deluded perception to reality. I offer it reality. It means that, in the Buddhist tradition, the best way to accumulate merit is to give things away. Doing mandala offerings. Do you know what merit is? You guys heard the term merit? You often wonder, what is it? Like brownie point spiritual benefit? What is merit? It means getting less ignorant. It's purification. It's clarification. You get less ignorant. You increase your capacity. How many of you people have been practicing Dharma for a number of years? You used to read this stuff, and one day you're reading it like, oh, that's cool. Does anybody happen to understand something that you didn't understand before? That's God's grace. That means your merit. Your merit had gone up. You would not be here in this room without having colossal stores of what the Buddhists call merit. You would not be here. You'd be down the street. You know, what can I get a latte? Down the streets, you wouldn't be here. Okay, how am I doing for time?
15 minutes.
Okay, let's speed up. May this be the cause for the completion of the 2 meritorious accumulations. The whole teaching of the Mahayana, the middle school of Buddhism, is the idea that we have dedicated our lives to the improvement of everything on this planet. Okay? We want to alleviate the suffering of all sentient beings. Okay? How best to do that? What's the supreme accomplishment in Buddhism? Should you go out and get a sign and go join a march if you want? But what's the supreme way to do it? What's the best way you can help all sentient beings in the Mahayana? You get enlightened. As quickly, as speedily as you can. What's the definition of enlightenment? One which I liked a lot from J. Lippmann. He said to be of infinite benefit to other beings. You can make of that what you will. That's the best way. The Mahayana is devoted to accumulating merit and accumulating insight or wisdom. For why? To reach the first bhumi, which is a full apprehension of what emptiness is. Like, oh, that's what's going on. And then gradually perfecting your ability to benefit other beings. When you achieve Buddhahood, that's why in our invocation, until I reach the state of Buddhahood, because when you're a Buddha, there aren't any other sentient beings, because you're everything. It's like, remember the joke I love, like the Dalai Lama asked him, went to the hot, he went to the baseball game, and he asked the hot dog seller, he says, make me one with everything. But remember the completion of the 2 meritorious accumulations. The Vajrayana, I said, this is from the perspective of enlightened awareness. And that includes the Hinayana, the so-called Hinayana and the Mahayana. Tara is still here for the benefit of sentient beings. She is Tara, how can I say it? The Dharmakaya shows up as the Nirmanakaya for the assistance of sentient beings, even though the sentient beings are not truly separate from her. Why? Because delusion exists. Did you get that weird theological sideswept? A lightened awareness manifests as Arya Tara to assist sentient beings that don't understand that they are Tara. Does that make sense? I hope that understanding is more or less correct. That makes sense? It's very mysterious. It doesn't make much sense because we're operating from deluded consciousness. But that's why in this one it says, in my meditation, why it says here it's the cause for the completion of the 2 meritorious accumulation. In other words, to complete the Mahayana path, and may it bring the glory of the ripening of the fruits of enlightenment for oneself and all other sentient beings. So in this case, there are, it's a mistake to say that sentient beings don't truly exist, because they exist, this is going to sound they exist in a relative way. Floyd understands what I mean, but this is very difficult. In fact, this is, to me in my mind, the completion of the Mahayana path is to really get this. Beings exist in a relative way. There's 2 aspects of bodhicitta, for example, which is the central teaching, to my mind, in the Mahayana. There's absolute bodhicitta, and there's relative bodhicitta. You people, have you heard that term before? It's worth us spending a lifetime. What does this mean? Relative and absolute bodhicitta, they're both Arya Tara. They seem to contradict each other, but they don't. Okay, there's relative aspects of reality, there's absolute notions of reality. Exalted Arya Tara, please be aware of me. Tara, how could you supplicate Tara to become aware of you if she is, as I've been positing, some kind of enlightened awareness herself? How could you supplicate Tara to become aware of you? What are you basically asking? What's that?
To remove delusion.
Yeah, and what do you ask? What does that mean if you weren't deluded? You would be Tara. You're actually, in a weird way, exalted our Tara. It's like remove my delusion. She'd be fully aware of you because you'd be fully aware of what you really are. So that's interesting. You know, this is couched in, there's nothing wrong with devotional worship. In fact, it's great. You can, I have Tara right up here at my altar at home. And I have Nairatma, who's a Nima aspect of absolute reality up here. And I have Arya Tara right here. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. And then I have my guru down here. A little like this arrangement. Okay, 10 minutes. Mother of enlightened activity who creates all the enlightened ones. All enlightened beings, so-called, come out of this state of awareness. Right? She is the mother. That's what it means. She is the progenitor. I like to think of it as the space, the unity of space and awareness. Picture it like an enormous womb. Out of this is born all kinds of, any kind of enlightened being, any kind of Nirmanakaya enlightened entity. By the power of supplication to you, or supplicating to you through approaching, practice, and devotion, bless me always to practice with devotion to you. Approaching, I like to say, it simply means to bring into your personal, deluded awareness, open your heart to her, come towards her. You can't possibly come towards her because she's never suffered from you. But you experience coming towards her. It means to practice, engage in formal sadhana, invocation, bringing her into your awareness, and devotion, of course. Do you guys know what spiritual devotion is? You know, at its first level, like this, it's a ritual type of thing. I'm gonna, because I know it's good for me, I'm going to practice and see these prayers and all that. Then it becomes a little bit more personal and emotional. Like, oh, I love Mother Tara. Oh, please, dear Mother Tara. Okay? And then final spiritual devotion, after quite a long time, you simply say, Mother, you just say, you don't even think that, you just say, you allow yourself to become the mother. And it could be enlightened awareness, it could just be space, it could be emptiness, it could be whatever it is. You no longer become a human being. In a way, you drop the body. This is advanced practice. And you do it in sequence. And there's nothing wrong. In fact, I heavily encourage you to overcome your pride and your embarrassment and all that. And, you know, our reluctance to surrender. And open yourself to wisdom energy. Just open the heart to wisdom energy. That's the first step. In fact, my guru once said something very moving to me. He said, if you don't turn your eyes to me, how can I turn my eyes towards you? So that I and all the sentient beings may complete the two accumulations of merit and wisdom, complete the Mahayana path, complete our understanding of bodhicitta. Then may the four activities be accomplished and extraordinary common city be granted. What are the four activities? In the Vajrayana, there are four great powers the enlightened beings use in their experience of reality. One is to magnetize. Allow all this into your mandala. Okay? The other thing is to pacify. Make it quiescent. Shamatha meditation. To allow peace, peace, peace. Om shanti, 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 shanti. The other one is subjugation. And all those raging emotions I have within myself, my anger, my passion, my hatred, my desire, may all that stuff, may I subdue all that by the power of my Tara's energy. May Tara subdue all that stuff. Finally, all those negativities, those intense blockages I have, especially my ignorance, may I destroy that. Magnetizing, okay, bringing you in, subjugating, put it all down, and destroy it. Destroy it. Cut through. Okay. Those are the these are four enlightened energy powers. And may extraordinary and common city be granted. Those are spiritual powers. They talk in the books about all these marvelous cities you have, where they talk about feeling yourself to be transparent, feeling to be yourself being very big or very small. Have you guys all read about the cities that they talk about, that you can achieve this yogic states like that? And then they always tell you, it's silly to want those things. I think us showing up in this body, that we decided that we look like this, and something in us that's decided this is our body, and that we have cars and we have. So I think those are as many cities as I care about. I don't need any more cities than that. May pure vision of the deities and the mantra arise from the Dharma Dhatu. That may be the Shambhogyakaya. May all sound exist as mantra, as purity, as God's voice. May everything I see be divine vision. May all of this become the Shambhogyakaya level. May I see as Tara sees. Okay? May the pure vision of the deities and the mantra arise from the Dharma Dhatu, and may we take an enlightened activity as our path and stir the very depths of samsara, which means may we exhibit, instead of approaching our spiritual practices with the attitude, I'm such a mess, we say, I'm Tara, I don't know it. May we take an enlightened activity as our path. Okay, may we come from that space of enlightened awareness in the best we can. And may we stir the very depths of samsara. Om Tara, Tu Tara, Ture, Soha. Let me finish up because I only have 5 minutes. In the realm of the great Dharmakaya, that's Hum. In the realm of the great Dharmakaya, all appearances in existence are non-dual. What does that mean? When you see with Tara's sight, all you see is Tara. When you, as this individual human being, see with divine sight, I'm Tara, you're Tara, this is Tara, everything's Tara. What's not to like? Everywhere I turn my eyes is nothing but the divine. All divine. All divine for God's play. I love that, God's deal. Everything is God's play. Everything. Everything. The two aspects of enlightened form appear according to the capacities of sentient beings. Okay, the two aspects of enlightened form. I think what they mean, I'm not sure, is its absolute and relative reality. The great saying in Buddhism is, when you really get it, enlightenment and samsara are the same. Enlightenment and samsara are the same. We as human beings say, that doesn't make any sense, I can't get that. What does it mean to have money in the bank and then, a lot of money? How can that both work? But enlightenment and samsara are the same. The two aspects of enlightened form appear according to the capacities of sentient beings, as best as we can do with our deluded perception. But this is all, to me, a base great hymn to the direct path. Okay. Forgive me, Dudjom. Why don't we just acknowledge what's actually going on? Let's just start with there. We don't quite get it. Why do we pretend that Buddhahood is somewhere else? Where else would that place be? If everything is just the unity of space and awareness, where else would Buddha be? In some future? What is the future? It's part of space and awareness. It isn't really a future, it's space and awareness. It's something that appears in awareness. Get it? You know what I mean, right? You do, right? Yeah. May this always bring benefit and well-being to countless acts of perfect merit. How can we make our perfect merit? Do it as Tara. Everything Tara does is utterly perfect. Utterly perfect, because she's absolute consciousness itself. How could she make, there's no way to make a mistake. And we don't get it, but we, in this ordinary, we are. how can this be? How can this be? Where else would it be? Apart from sentient beings, where do we find the Buddhists? Where do you find it? Did I come in on time?
Just enough time for closing prayers.
I'm going to close the prayers. What do you know? May the supreme jewel of Buddhism that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. May I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha, and lead every being without exception in that pure world. You guys know that Rinpoche in Tibet is used for very, very high levels. But we Americans, we need help. So for us, it means the precious jewel. It means having a real father and guide and somebody to help us through this stressful sea of existence. And look who you guys have manifested.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my
We're
God.
so happy you're here.
Yes, I'm so happy
We're
with you.
so happy. You really like, I don't know, I don't have any words. And you too. And bringing, coming here, and this is, as always, your home. So anytime, please visit. And thank you so much for your time.